We're here in the Cardiff Devils shop alongside Joey Haddad, or Chef as he's affectionately known, amongst his teammates. I'm sure we'll get on to a bit of cooking chat later, Joe. But first of all, an interesting week, the triple header in Scotland, and then perhaps a little bit of an extra rest and recuperation period, then straight into those two games on the weekend. One perhaps with more pressure than the other on the Saturday night against Belfast in the league, then a game in the Cup which you needed to win, but perhaps didn't have the same amount of pressure being already through. Can you just talk a little bit about how that process is? Firstly, starting with a triple header, then the week following that and preparing for the following weekend. A real mix of games. As a professional athlete, just give us some insight into that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the triple header goes, in this league, fortunately, we only have the one a year, I think. Other leagues throughout the world, especially in North America, it's kind of a regular weekly thing, 3 games in 3 nights or 4 games in 5 nights. So, but no, yeah, it's something you prepare for. It's something you know is going to be tough with the travel to and from the games all the way up to Scotland. But as a player, it's something that I wouldn't say you don't look forward to it. It's some hotel time, some extra time with the guys, and our Cardiff Devil fans do a good job of making the trip up and supporting us too. So it's kind of like I said, it's that once a year thing where personally I don't mind it too much, but when you turn around and you have a short week to recover after all that travel back, and then you go into a tough barn like Belfast, that's when the triple header kind of adds up to being a little more difficult than you'd like. And we didn't get the result we wanted, and I think we'll learn from that moving forward. But going into Sunday, like you said, maybe not a game we had to win, but as a team this year, we've definitely tried to approach every game the same way. We want to come out, we want to play the best Devil hockey we can, and we want to win the game. So I think as long as we take that mentality into any game, we'll be set up good to win.
It was a tough challenge going into Fife, who played their first game that weekend, and it was your third game. That is where the long winning streak came to an end. How do you guys make sure that you're able to kind of get back into that winning mentality after that? Because sometimes you can see a little bit of a lull when you've sort of had that riding that wave, and then a loss comes along. You did obviously have the loss in Belfast, but you got a win on the Sunday night. How do you get back into that winning frame of mind and just turn things around?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 8 games in a row, was it? And then obviously the end of the 3-3 Fife, and we all know it wasn't our best game. The score was a little different, I thought, than the chance we had starting the third period. I think it was 1-0 going into the third, and then they got a couple goals, and then the empty netter. But again, like the Belfast game, we'll learn from it. It just really goes to show how important every single match is, and how important it is for us as a team to, hold ourselves to that high standard. Doesn't matter what's on the line. We just want to, be a steady, consistent machine that's going to go out and perform the same way and give our team the best chance to win every night.
It was probably the first period in Belfast, as Andrew Lloyd mentioned in a previous interview, that was a little flat, which may have cost you in the end. And then Sunday night, again, it was an interesting challenge, I suppose, both clubs knowing they were through, and Manchester having such a short roster that night. But just finding the way to sort of build that momentum and get back onto that sort of high intensity hockey that's been so successful for the Devils over the past few years. Is that something which is at the forefront of your guys' minds to turn things around heading into this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, in Belfast, right from the start, we seem to be like a step behind. We don't want to create any excuses, but the travel's tough, and you're flying, and guys' legs might not be where they want them to be, and then you go into a tough barn and play a very good team. But yeah, so Sunday was, there might have been a little less pressure as far as the match outcome, but I think it was a good game for us, like you said, to get that intensity back, get the positivity back, get a win. And some guys had some really good nights, and we'll look to carry that into this weekend.
I have to ask you about the line which you were playing on, especially on the Sunday night there, and David Bryan stepping into that centre position, and Chris Callaghan as well, good friend of yours. Just talk a bit about the dynamic of that line and what seemed to, certainly on Sunday night, it was certainly in commentary we discussed a real high point for the Devils, that combination. Just the dynamic of that line and playing with those two guys and the strengths that all of you bring to that line.
Yeah, well, I think it starts, me and Chris know each other really well on and off the ice, but over the past few years we've had a chance to play with each other, so we know what we're expecting there. And as far as Dave Bryan, I mean, he's a great hockey player, really smart hockey player, works hard. I've had the chance, I think it's about almost 5 games now that we've been matched up. Cully was back on D, but we're really starting to click and feel good, reading off each other throughout the game, and there's a little bit of a trust level that develops. Not that you throw pucks away blind, but it's almost like you know where to look, and you kind of have that certain impulse of where your line mate's going to be before he's going to be there, and when you can feel that way, you get confidence, and there's definitely less to think about when you're out there playing the game. And I think having Cully back up from D and join our line Sunday, it was a lot of fun, and it was like we talked about after the game, it was almost an easy factor. We were just out there playing hockey and making plays and having a good time, and I think I look forward to playing with both of them. So we'll see this weekend if we stick together.
I just have to ask you on Chris Callaghan, the ability he's been playing sort of 5 or 6 weeks on D, covering the injury to Scott Hoffman, to just jump straight in. As I know he's played forward most of his career, but jump straight back in as a forward as though he hasn't been playing D the last 5 or so weeks. Get a goal as well. Just a word on him.
Oh yeah, he's awesome hockey player. IQ levels off the charts. He knows the game inside and out. Skill, work ethic, and I think his mind is probably his strongest asset. I mean, it's one thing to have skill as a defenseman, skill as a forward, but like you said, to be switching back and forth and be impactful in both roles, it's something. It's pretty impressive.
This weekend, it's another huge weekend, as they often are, with the way the league is structured, and that league title being perhaps the main goal. Sheffield Steelers on Friday night. We often say in commentary that if you end up ahead of the Steelers in the league standings, you've got a good chance of winning the whole thing. Just talk about the challenge which that presents, and I suppose for you guys going up there, you must relish playing in those huge matches.
Yeah, I mean, I think more often than not, every time we play the Sheffield Steelers, it's a huge match. Again, like I touched on before, we want to treat every game the same, come out with the same intensity, play the same standard that we set out to, and it's definitely maybe ×2 against the Sheffield Steelers. It seems like it's the ultimate battle every time we play against them. Obviously, the past 2 years we've fallen short of the league with them in front of us, so we always have a lot to prove against them. Not only towards them, but for ourselves too. We know we're a good hockey team, we're a good bunch of guys, and we want to accomplish these big feats together. So when we go up there Friday night, it's going to be another big one, and we'll look forward to it.
And to have won up there already early season, that must be really important for you.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you look at the past couple seasons, especially when we were still in the Big Blue tent, it was always that tough transition going from the small ice, where what we were used to, and then going to their home with the big ice and what they were used to. Now that we're in Ice Arena Wales, we have the big ice surface. We're basically over the small ice surface. So I think, especially early on in the year, you can see where we're a little more equal with them now. And the forechecking game, there's not as big of a gap, and we've had some success up there early, so it's nice to see.
Braehead Clan at home on the Sunday night. No secret those games are always a battle. We've had a number of premieres of the Ice Guardians film around the UK as well, and of course Dr. Victoria Silwood, based here in Cardiff and at Birmingham University, has joined us on IceTime.TV a few times, who features in the film. And a lot of the talk as well that was featured amongst players in that was kind of the anticipation of games which perhaps you expect to have more physicality and that kind of side of the game. Is that something which you have to keep in check a little bit in heading into games which you expect will likely have a physical side?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, as personally, my role as a for the Devils as a player. I'm a big body. I can skate well and stuff like that. I'm kind of expected, and I expect myself to be physical every night. So maybe different guys in different roles, or maybe somebody who's had an altercation in the past or something like that. There might be certain situations that call for being maybe more prepared or a little more anticipation. But myself personally, I mean, you might take a couple more bumps or look to give them a few more bumps during the night. But yeah, like personally, I go out there looking to be physical every night. So.
Just on the lighter side, then going back to your line mates and David Bryan at the moment this time, you spoke to John post game as he was man of the match last weekend, and he said he'd been discussing some recipes with you. You seem to have found a kindred spirit there in terms of the cooking off the ice.
Yeah, definitely. It's something we both enjoy doing, and yeah, just it's kind of like locker room talk. What'd you make last night? Oh, it's nice. I'm gonna try that tonight, and you kind of share some ideas back and forth, and keeps things fresh. And when you cook a lot, you end up running out of ideas. So it's always good to get some tips or some different recipes from your teammates for sure.
And we've already had one dog-related question today. John speaking to Andrew Lloyd about his new member of the family, and you don't have a dog, Joe, but you were telling me you kind of rent a dog almost.
Not so much rent. We're pretty much glorified dog sitters. So you sign up online, and basically it's through dogbuddy.com. And when basically people go on holiday, they need somebody to watch their dog. And my wife Kirsten and I, we've done that. Probably about a year now. So she's always on my back about wanting to get a puppy. Not that I don't want one, but I think timing is everything. And this is a good way to kind of solve the problem temporarily, and maybe get a few ideas of what kind of breed we'll look at getting when we do get one.
It sounds like the perfect combination. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, let's hope that's the case as well for you guys again on Friday and Sunday. Thanks for joining us, Joe, today. And of course, that game on Sunday night against the Braehead Clan. Tickets at cardiffdevils.com. And remember as well, that's also Iron Maiden night. Bruce Dickinson will be dropping the puck for that one. So any music fans that have never been to a hockey game before, that's definitely the one to come to. Of course, we'll have live coverage, as always, on IceTime.TV, IceTime.TV, to purchase your tickets for that one. We'll see you there.